Many survivors of narcissistic abuse often struggle with their faith. They wonder and ask questions like, what did I do to deserve this? Why was I put through such torment? Why do I have to suffer while the narcissist seems to live freely? They see the narcissist moving on from one person to the next, while they remain stuck in their pain. They ask themselves, when will justice be served? Today, going to talk about how justice is delivered when a narcissist goes too far. I'm Narcissist Insights, a psychologist, trauma therapist, and narcissistic abuse recovery expert. Welcome to my channel. The topic for today's episode is simple. How does God punish a narcissist when their time comes? During my healing journey, I often found myself consumed by anger, especially towards my father. I kept asking, when will God bring justice? When will my father face the consequences? And not just him, but his father too, who was part of it all. In my family, narcissism was passed down like eye color or hair color. Almost everyone I knew had some of it. You might wonder, how are you different? I had to be. I didn't have a choice. Someone had to break the cycle. That's why I've cut off all contact with them. I'm done with them. Back to the topic. During my journey, while dealing with my anger, I realized that he's already suffering. What I was focusing on was what he had on the outside. Many of them get to live long lives, achieve success, and have all the money they want. They use people like tools, and yes, they seem to have it all. But what's their internal experience like? They're never satisfied, which is why they keep jumping from one person to the next. That's why they're cold inside. Their heart doesn't beat with life. It's just a lump of flesh moving. There's no soul in it. They have everything they could want, but they can't truly feel it. They're just ghosts in human form. To me, eating like that is a life wasted. If you have to depend on others to feel anything, you're already gone. That is their suffering. That was my realization. And then, I don't know if it was divine intervention or not, but in my work, I met a few narcissists who booked sessions with me, claiming they wanted to change. I asked them, what is it like to be you? And all of them told me the same thing. It might look like they're living a great life, but they're suffering deeply. They can't face it. They have no choice. Even if they wanted to look inward, they couldn't because it would destroy them. The thought of collapsing like that gives them extreme anxiety. Different people said the same thing in different ways. The point I'm trying to make here is that they are suffering. Yes, unfortunately, you crossed paths with them, and I can't explain why. Maybe they were a catalyst in your life. Maybe they were used to show you a direction. Sometimes, we have to go through tough times. I'm not saying, what doesn't kill you makes you strong, no, that's not it. It's just my understanding. If I hadn't been through what I've been through, I wouldn't have been able to help so many people. That's how I've made peace with it. That's how I see my purpose. That's my understanding. If you don't agree with it, that's totally okay. You might see it as abuse, and there's no explanation needed. There doesn't have to be a reason for someone to abuse you. It can't be justified. To offer a different perspective on the same topic, I want to share a story with you. It's about a powerful king named Shaddad. Once upon a time, in the vast kingdom of Ad, there lived a very powerful king named Shaddad. He had unmatched wealth, health, and access to anything he wanted. You name it, he had it. But all of that was a test for him. He could have used it to help humanity, to uplift people, but instead, he used it all to fuel his grandiose, narcissistic self. One day, he heard about heaven, a place created by God for good people, and it hurt his pride. He saw himself as a god and decided to build his own heaven on earth, challenging God. He spent years building the city, which he called heaven. It had everything: flowing streams, jewels, women, men, everything. But just when it was time for him to enter this heaven he had created, God took away his soul. He never got to step foot in it, proving that he wasn't as powerful as he thought. He didn't have control over everything, and he was just a human being. The moral of the story is that narcissists can get everything they go after, but that doesn't mean they live peaceful lives. In the end, their lives are often miserable. There's a striking similarity between Shaddad's story and a narcissist's life. They get everything, but they don't enjoy any of it. By the end, it's all gone and wasted. What's the proof? Look at their bitterness. Why do they feel so fragile and out of place? Why do they hurt people more than ever? Why can't they control themselves? It's because they're falling apart. Their whole narcissistic false self is crumbling. That's when God delivers justice. Recently, my narcissistic, psychopathic grandfather passed away. I didn't attend the funeral, but I heard a few things. Just a couple of days after he died, his son started fighting over the money spent on the funeral. Can you imagine that? All of them are narcissists, but they fought over just a few $100s. It turned into a huge issue. He died alone, with no one by his side. Even in his last days, he was trying to get supply from his past life, reminiscing about what he used to be. He couldn't accept his reality because he thought he would be powerful forever. But God showed him the truth. He lived a long life just to realize that he was nothing but a pile of dirt destined to vanish. That's the truth. For them, long life isn't a gift. It's a curse. Some of them pray for it to end, and narcissists, towards the end of their lives, are among those people. That's how God teaches them a lesson in His own way. And if you believe in the afterlife, then you know what's coming for them. If you believe in reincarnation, you know their soul will never find peace and will suffer eternally. I hope this gives you some peace. I know you're not a vengeful person, and you don't want them to suffer. Neither do I. But it's the divine system. That's how it works. There's always a balance. It's karma. If you do something wrong, you will have to pay for it here and hereafter. Nothing goes unpunished. That's it for today's episode. I hope you found it insightful. Let me know in the comments. I'll talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.